because we didn't get a chance to talk about Quiet on Set, but we've all watched Quiet on Set. Y'all know that's a documentary on Max and on the ID channel about Nickelodeon and all of the atrocities that happened there. So basically, take advantage of children, ignore child labor laws. Brian,
Bendy has strap still up.
I know I'm about to get him. I'm about to get him.
Okay.
Brian Peck, are consistently for years. Drake Bell here, who was on Nickelodeon's Drake and
Josh.
Drake and Josh, child. But I'm sorry for getting a few because it was after my era of Nickelodeon, and also
This was my era.
Brian Peck then went to Cody on Disney. So Brian Peck basically was arrested and charged for R-ing Drake Bell. He only did 16 months in jail, and then he was rehired. His friends in Hollywood took on Cody on Disney.
Cody and Zach.
Cody and
Sweet
Zach.
Life of Zach and Cody.
Sweet Life of Cody and Zach. Thank you. I just remember they listed like, was those the two twins from that Sandler movie back in the day?
Big Daddy. Yes.
I had my own ass. Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. That line sticks in my head forever, but that's how I remember who they are. But because that was after me. But yes, I was the first season, like the first round of All That. That's my era. Okay. So I was in there for the All That, Nick at Night, Keenan and Kel, Amanda Show, Dan Schneider. I was a part of that era very, very deeply. And when Nickelodeon was a channel. We didn't even watch Disney Channel back then. Like Disney Channel was like in the morning Mickey Mouse episodes. Besides that, you was on Nickelodeon, bitch. And you was on Snick on Saturday nights. And you was on Nick at Night, bitch. You was watching Mary Tyler Moore. You was watching I Love Lucy. You was watching the Dick Van Dyke Show. All of that shit, right? Nickelodeon was 31 in New Orleans. And bitch, I was on there all the time. Do you hear me? So I'm one of these kids that grew up watching this, and to find out before we get into Drake Bell, to find out how much sexual innuendo was happening with the slime and the cum shots and the pickles. Y'all, I love pickles. I don't know if y'all understand. As a kid, it was like literally like one of my favorite snacks. Me and my cousin loved us some goddamn pickles. It was a thing to find the small sour pickles because you know they wasn't easy to find. You could find dill and all that kosher, but you couldn't find pickles as easily, right? So you could shoot a big ass thing of sour pickles and dip that shit in Tony Saturated or put that in some goddamn mama noodles, girl, all kind of hood hookups for the pickles. Not even realizing that Brian Peck is bringing all of these pickles to the stage because he's trying to create sexual innuendo with a whole bunch of dick. The shit that happened with Amanda, the shit that happened with Ariana Grande. And to me, Ariana Grande hasn't said anything, but as far as I'm concerned, Dan Schneider did something to Ariana Grande and Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes hasn't said anything. She's kind of ignoring what's going on.
Jamie Lynn Spears ain't said nothing either from Zoe 101.
And it's given the same. I feel it's just, to me, it's giving y'all my theory. Nobody said this, but this is my theory. That Dan Schneider, Brian Peck, there are groups of grapists in the industry. Some like children, some like boys, children, girl children. Then some people like just doing it to adults. You know what I'm saying? Young adults, 19 on to 20, you like controlling, young people. That should, I'm sorry, allegedly that's your ditties. But Dan Schneider is, I like women, I like the little girls. So I like your Amanda Bynes. I like those girls. Ariana Grande. Brian Peck is, I like the boys. I like Drake. I like, possibly Cody. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But either way, it's given there is a network, right? And the people that are on television, some of these people are making content for the people that are in these separate groups. Because when I watched the Quiet on the Set documentary, what I felt the most from watching it was that they were creating content for the pedophiles that are watching the show. The the black kid who had the dogs lick off the peanut butter off
The nose boy.
Yeah, the nose with the dicks on his arms and on his face. Then Amanda Seals. I mean, not Amanda. Child, I keep saying Amanda Seals because she was a part of Nickelodeon too back in the day, but not her. And not even Amanda Bynes. Ariana Grande, when he was recording her on the bed and her pouring shit on herself. That's the moment.
The webcam stuff.
The webcam stuff is when I realized that all of the other stuff is for these niggas' benefit. Yeah, we laughing because we think it's funny for somebody to have green slime all over them, not realizing that a whole bunch of nasty ass old men are watching Nickelodeon so that they can watch kids have cum shots on. That's what I think.
Yeah, and throwing water all over themselves as they're leaning over the other side of the damn bed, like she's being squirted on or something. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, it was cringe worthy. I know the next episode dropped tomorrow. I can't wait to see who's gonna get exposed next. Like, this shit is trash.
Tomorrow, is that the extra episode that we were talking about, or is that last?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was about to say I hadn't watched the extra one yet. What I wanted to know about the whole thing was okay, well, let me give overview. I hated that they were only able to say that Dan Snyder was just a bad boss. That's basically the way it ended. All they could say was that he was a bad boss and he made people uncomfortable. He had practices that were unethical. That was pretty much it. They couldn't really accuse him of anything, sexual assault or anything along those lines, because it seems like the people who he was close with are people who are now in shambles that we don't hear from, or people who are super successful in another lane and they choose not to speak on it. So I wish they would have done that. Sickening that those people got other jobs. The Brian Peck guy, disgusting. I don't know what happened to the other guy, the skinny white dude who was writing in people's summer journals about Christ and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know where he went.
They got him. He went to jail. That's how we found out. Because
he went, but what happened after that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think he got no other job.
But when he got arrested, that's how we found out what he was doing, because he was keeping journals of everything.
Yeah. Keeping the kids' stuff.
Yeah. He had
And then the mom who didn't want to go to the police about her daughter and then came to the police later on. That was interesting.
The police showed up to her. She said that's how she found out. The police had already found out about that guy and found that her daughter's underwear was in a Ziploc.
Yes, I forgot. What was his name, y'all? Was it Josh? Or is that it? Jason Handy? Was it him?
He had a very basic name. I cannot remember.
I think it was Jason.
It may be Jason.
And Brian, finding out that Drake was the deciding factor for Brian Peck was crazy, because apparently Brian Peck had done it to more than just Drake. And Drake's mom, Drake's mom needs her ass whooped. And I have to come around to this because sometimes I feel like people use parents as scapegoats. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like in situations with R. Kelly. Yes, there were.
We can't talk about this without talking about the parents for R. Kelly.
There were definitely people bringing their kids to R. Kelly, but there were also people that I feel like didn't necessarily understand, believe, or know what was going on, and was taking that, they trying to take a black man down, and really believe that. And so you think that your daughter is a great opportunity, and now you're being blamed because the person you allow her to be around, like for instance, with R. Kelly and Sparkle's niece, like. Sparkle, her niece.
Hold on. Can I just say this real quick?
Yeah.
Jason Handy is still locked up and he don't get out till 2038. Okay.
Good job.
Okay. Thank you.
Good job. Hold up. I need to hold up. Yeah. Hold up.
Yep.
It's because we feel people that, great children should be away from the rest of us. Right. I don't know about y'all. A lot of y'all think they're victims. I don't know why y'all think that. But whatever. Okay. Either way, what were we, Niecy? What were we saying about Robert? We were saying something about Robert.
You were talking about the parents. How the parents should be. I don't know if you were getting ready to say the parents should take some responsibility, but you were saying that there's other adults involved besides the parents.
Yes, so many adults involved, especially with Brian Peck. Like, first of all, I really hate, and I hate this from a personal standpoint, when you notice fucked up things about people and you point them out and everybody acts like you're crazy, even though everybody knows it's fucked up. So Brian Peck was a what is it called? A pen pal for a convicted murderer, John Wayne Gacy. He had memorabilia
What?
from
Did
John
they
Wayne.
talk about this in the
Yeah.
documentary?
They
Yep.
did. Yes, that he presented this shit in front of the kids, in front of their parents, and it was as if everybody felt it was weird, but ignored the fact that this man was a pen pal for John Wayne Gacy. And if anybody needs to do their research on John Wayne Gacy, you find out he was somebody that was murdering and R-ing boys. So this is now Brian Peck being accused of R-ing Drake Bell. Drake Bell eventually gets accused of the same thing by a 15-year-old girl. Now, from his admission, this is somebody he met online. Once he figured out that they were not of age, he completely cut off contact. That girl, the witness, says he groomed her from the age of 12 and he R'd her. And
no, she's saying there was more than just conversation.
Hold up, I'm gonna put it up for you
because this is the part that I feel like they left hanging at the end of that documentary in the worst way.
I'm gonna play his audio. It's 1:30. When we come back, I'm gonna read y'all what the witness, the victim said.
Okay.
Bonded on some DMs and was incredibly irresponsible and got myself into conversations that I shouldn't have had, and I ended up finding out that I was talking to someone I shouldn't have been talking to, and it snowballed into these allegations that were not true, and it just turned into this big thing. And when I finally I was being investigated, and that was really difficult on my family. And thankfully, through 18 months of subpoenaing my social media and phones and computers and witnesses and everything, it turned out that most of what was being accused of me wasn't true. But I did have these conversations, and so I took responsibility for that and ended up pleading guilty because just financially, I was just devastated, and I just had a son, and I didn't want to put my family through all of this anymore. So I ended up going through the process the way that I did, and, very regretful. And I have to take, there's just so much that I've had to deal with, and through that, like I said, not having the tools or not knowing how to process things, I made a lot of decisions in my life that I responded on some DMs and was incredibly irresponsible and got myself into conversations that I shouldn't have had. And I ended up finding out that, I was talking to someone I shouldn't have been talking to, and it snowballed into these allegations that were not true, and it just turned into this big thing. And when I finally I was being investigated, and that was really difficult on my family. And thankfully, through 18 months of subpoenaing.
Okay, so that was a repeat. Hold up, y'all. Because I'm mad because they've done so many stories. The original story that I read, I'm having a hard time finding from before all of this. Because when I found my story was from like 2022, before the documentary came out. And before the documentary came out, here it is. I found it. It's actually from 2021. Okay. The judge in a statement. I'm trying to find a specific part where the victim gives their statement. But basically, what I do remember, because I'm trying to find it exactly. 15-year-old. Okay. Previously reported the incident occurred December 1st, 2017, the same day Bell was scheduled to perform at a venue in Cleveland. The incident involved Bell engaging in an inappropriate chat with a 15-year-old victim that was at times sexual in nature. Though he initially pleaded not guilty to the charges following his arrest, Bell later agreed to a plea deal. I'm trying to find the original statement, but she said he groomed him. I mean, she said he groomed her from the age of 12.
I heard that.
She
for
says,
um
I idolized and looked up to
well,
him. She
yeah.
says he was calculating, he preyed on me, and he sexually abused me. He is a monster and a danger to children. He is sorry. He's finally been caught. He committed these crimes with pride. He can give me that look all he wants, but he knows exactly what I'm talking about. My suffering is not for him to brag about or use as a leverage about how he's become a good person and now that he's a father. um, yeah, that's some of the stuff that she said.
And this is the part I found. Because she said after the hearing, she said the epitome of evil. She accused Bell of grooming her from the age of 12 before allegedly sexually abusing her when she was 15. She said "I chose to write this statement because I want justice to be served more than anything." She began over Zoom. The only time that the defendant has appeared in court in person was on June 3rd for his arraignment, which was before the media thought about the case. He has appeared date over Zoom instead of appearing in person. This doesn't surprise me and shows what a coward he is, but I am not a coward. She detailed the pain Bell allegedly caused her, which she said resulted in panic attacks and nightmares. She also said her parents have spent more than $7,000 for her to go to therapy. He was calculating, he preyed on me and sexually abused me. She said, alleging that he sent her photos of his genitalia. He is a monster and a danger to children. She concluded, Jared Drake Bell is a pedophile and that is his legacy.
Ooh,
What
baby.
source is that? Who did she speak to?
This was People.
Wow. I believe her. I believed her before you even read that because the way that he giggles after he says, I was obviously talking to someone I shouldn't have been talking to, rubs
Mhm.
me the wrong way. He giggles to try to make light of the situation like it was an honest mistake when how the fuck do you confuse a child? How do you
15-year-old.
confuse a child for someone and talk to them for that long? He tried to make it relatable by laughing about it. It was weird to me.
The judge is what the judge said. The judge declared that Bell did take advantage of the victim. She didn't have the emotional or mental maturity to properly engage in their situation. Your position in celebrity status enabled you to nurture this relationship, the judge said. You were able to gain access to this child and you were able to gain the trust of the child. So it's a two-edged sword, your position. I hope you truly are remorseful. I don't know if you are. That's what the judge said.
Wow. Wow. Damn. I
Mm,
believe it. I think people that violate these folks eventually turn them into who they were or who they are.
yes. And to me, the funny part is that like I feel like the viewing public did not know about this and they know that. They know the public didn't know about this because of the way they sat him down during the quiet on set interview. Like, oh, we gonna sit down this person that y'all don't know about. You know what I'm saying? You remember how they
No, I
everybody
knew about it.
you knew about it.
I
I
knew because in 20 I knew he was a missing person a couple years ago and it was a big deal. And that's how I found out about the allegations because
did.
they ended up finding him in Mexico. He completely changed his name to Drake Campano or whatever Bell is in Spanish. He only tweets in Spanish. He's on tour in Mexico and he is not coming back to the US because of these charges.
Does Mexico have extradition?
I have no idea. I think he's deciding not to come back. I think he's going there to start over. I don't think he's doing that like to evade the charges. I think he's doing it because he had to deal with him. He's going to stay
Yeah.
there and rebrand himself and make money in Mexico versus making money here.
Okay. So I'm gonna just say that I felt like, first of all, when I look at him, it's on him. Like whatever he thinks we can't see, I can see it. He looks like a zombie. The color of his skin is extremely pale in a way that it's just like even the furrow of his brow. And I'm so sorry for him because I feel like he would not have been this person if he had not been assaulted himself as a child so severely. When he talked about that man said anything you can imagine, the most terrible thing you can imagine. That's what happened to me. And what that sounds like, in based on what he said about them taking those trips to Disneyland or Disney World, whichever one, it sounds like he and his friends, Brian Peck, would take Drake to Disney. So that means it wasn't just him assaulting him, it was other people too. There was just something I caught in the way he made it seem as if it wasn't just him and Brian going, it was other people as well. Which is why I say it's like a network, and that's the thing people don't understand about the Diddy situation. It only makes sense that if everybody's into a certain kink, you're a celebrity, you have access to all these people, you can now charge your rich, famous friends for access to their kink that help them away with any illegality. See what I'm saying? So like when it comes to your Dan Schneider's making content, your Brian Peck's, you know what I'm saying? And now, Drake, that unfortunately I feel like is trying to act out his trauma in a different manner, but doing the same thing. You tell me a nigga moved to fucking Mexico and changes his name, and that makes me feel like that's because you want to have access to people who don't know your history.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
You know, exactly. So you don't want to have to be on anybody's sex offenders registry. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm sorry, Drake. Like, I swear to God, like, I hate the fact that I believe that victim, I don't care what they're talking about what evidence that, dismisses her allegations, because the judge still said, I don't know if you did it or not. And I'm pulling up this picture right now because I want y'all to see the look on his face, because I see something.
Well, yeah, they also talked about him being an alcoholic. You can see he looks more older and more stressed than what he should, not only because of what he went through, but you can still it's still something that he's actively it's still it's still in him.
And I hate that. Like, I hate that so much.
The downturned eyes.
Yes. And then the trying to smile with your eyes, but it's not genuine. And you could tell, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's something happening there. But anyway, and then also with the Brian situation, like you said, I feel like they glazed over Brian Peck. I mean, I'm sorry, not Brian Peck. Dan Schneider. They grazed over Dan Schneider, because to me, Dan Schneider did something to Amanda Bynes, because Amanda Bynes shows up as someone who is trying to process trauma.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
And also that he was doing on that camera with a child. I won't say
Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no way I don't see that as you sexualizing this very small teen girl. And let's not forget about the fact that Ariana Grande has been a grown woman for a long time, but she continues to promote a childlike image. That's on purpose.
I feel like she just now got away from that, though.
Yeah, just now. Because that fucking ponytail, the wide-eyed, innocent look. And another thing, people be out here calling Ariana a hoe. And I feel like she's trying to gain power in her sexuality, because grown-ass men took advantage of her. So now, as a powerful adult grown woman, I think her going from relationship to relationship the way she has been is kind of like a reflection of somebody that is exercising their power in their dynamic. Meaning, I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna do what I want to do, I'm gonna fall in love, but then as soon as I don't like it, I'm throwing this nigga away. And I really can't be mad at her about that.